What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and today could possibly be the day where the Flyers franchise maybe gets saved. Maybe it continues down, not getting a high overall draft pick or something like that. Maybe we get saved and we get lucky with either Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli. Maybe that could be the possible way we could go here for the Philadelphia Flyers. The draft lottery, it doesn't start until like 8 o'clock, but I figured why not start a little bit earlier, just, get some people in here on the stream, we can get some reaction, we can get some discussion down here, because honestly, we haven't talked about Philadelphia Flyers in so long, they've been so untalkable, so unwatchable, basically in regards to the end of their season, but the Stanley Cup playoffs, they've been a very, nice distraction from Flyers, granted all the other Philadelphia sports that are going on, Phillies, and also Sixers that are going on as well. So that's something that we can, focus on, get our minds off that. Eagles will eventually start up back in the fall. Training camps very soon, like in July, August, around then. So, yeah. But, this could be possibly one of the biggest days for the Flyers franchise in a very long time. All the turmoil going on this season, Chuck Fletcher continually pissing off fans and screwing up the NHL trade deadline when he should have traded, JVR, all that crap. Then eventually Chuck Fletcher gets fired after the season ticket holder town hall meeting. Holy shit. And then, just the fact that everything, Danny Briere takes over, Dave Scott is eventually stepping down, Hilferty is taking over as the new CEO of Comcast Spectacor. The Flyers are still going through their president of hockey operations search. I believe the last thing I saw was from Anthony DeMarco of the fourth period. He said the Flyers could possibly have their decision possibly at the end of, I would say, this week. Maybe next week, they could probably have a decision on who their president is going to be. And the way everything is sounding like, they're deciding on the president of hockey ops is most likely going to be on the business marketing side, and they're just going to let Danny Briere and the hockey people do what they have to do. So that's just getting me thinking a little bit is, maybe the 1-2 punch instead of a president and the GM doing the work. Maybe it's Danny Briere and John Tortorella putting their fixes on the roster. Maybe that's the way everything is going to go. And then you bring in a president just to help with the business side of things. That's still also a hockey mind. Maybe they can share their thoughts and everything there. Because the people that they're, interviewing, it sounds like there's a lot of hockey minds out there. Scott Mellenby is a name out there. I think Cami Granado is also a name out there as well that has been talked about. So there's definitely some names that have been popped up. So I have no idea what route they're going to go for. Whenever that announcement is hired, I'm sure these people are qualified. I know a lot of people like to bring up, the former Flyer crap, blah, 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 blah. Personally, if the person is qualified, if they had a single day tied to the Philadelphia Flyers, a Flyers fan will complain that it's a former Philadelphia Flyer. That's basically how Flyers fans are right now. We are very down bad. I would say that is the perfect description of everything. Very down bad. But today could be a change of all of that. Today, if those ping pong balls fall in the perfect spot for this franchise, it's a franchise-altering thing that can happen. Drafting a Connor Bedard could be something that this team has not seen since Eric Lindros. Could be the next cornerstone franchise piece that this team has basically been lacking since Eric Lindros. Claude Giroux, fantastic player. Fantastic. He's not on the level of an Eric Lindros. He wasn't on the level of, Bobby Clark and all that crap for this franchise. You bring in a Connor Bedard, a player that is comparable to, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, all that stuff, all the great, players in the NHL today. You're looking at another face of your franchise. Possibly could potentially be the best player of your franchise with the way this kid is constantly breaking records in the juniors, in the World Juniors, and everything like that. It's a very exciting time. And there's a lot of ways these, basically I know you got to rely on percentages and luck and all that crap, but we basically have to wait and see. So hopefully it'll be an exciting day. Hopefully we're not, in the pain of, moving down in the draft lottery and all that crap. Bucket, what pick? The Flyers did not get a pick yet. The draft lottery does not start until 8 p.m., and the NHL is going to drag that out as much as possible. specifically because this is the Connor Bedard Sweepstakes. So it's going to be dragged out. No doubt about it. So if we're looking at the Philadelphia Flyers right now, they were the 7th ranked team, or the 7th worst team in the National Hockey League. So they have the 7th best odds to get the first overall pick. And they have so many of these websites where they do the odds for every team and all that crap and all the explanations and rules. First, I'm going to go over the rules because I feel like not everyone's like in tune with the new rules with the NHL Draft Lottery because it's insanely confusing, the new rules that they made up. It's really confusing over the past year or so. Very. Like, I was reading it this afternoon, and I was very confused. I didn't, fully get the full correlation of everything until I watched a video of someone explaining it. So, when someone explained it, it became very simple, but when you're reading it first stance, it's like, what the hell does this even mean? So, let's go over the rules for the draft lottery, the way things that are supposed to go down. So, first rule, obviously, all teams that miss the playoffs are eligible for the draft lottery. Teams with the least points get more chances at winning the draft lottery. That's obvious. So, the worst overall team in the National Hockey League, that was the Anaheim Ducks. They're going to have the best odds of possibly, falling into the first overall pick and winning the draft lottery. So, this is where, it kind of gets confusing with the way they word everything. The first overall pick is awarded by a drawing of ping pong balls. A team can only jump 10 spots, so only the top 11 teams are eligible for the first pick. So that kind of makes sense. So overall, teams 1 through 11, they're only qualified to get the first overall pick. Then teams 1 through 12, they're the teams that are qualified to get the second overall pick. So if you're, say, the 12th worst team in the National Hockey, or the 11th worst team in the National Hockey League, you can't get, or actually the 12th worst team can get the second overall pick. It's the 12th worst team that can't get, it's, like I said, it's confusing and all that crap, but the most spots you can jump up in this draft lottery is 10. So 1 through 11, eligible for the first overall pick. 1 through 12 is eligible for the second overall pick. So if the team in the 12 to 16 range wins the first drawing for the first overall pick, the first pick will be automatically awarded to the worst team in the National Hockey League. So, say if we're looking at, ranks 12 to 16. Ranks 12 to 16 are the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres, Pittsburgh Penguins, Nashville Predators, and the Calgary Flames. If any of those teams were to win the draft lottery, automatically it would go to the Anaheim Ducks because those teams that I just mentioned, they're not eligible for the first overall pick. And then the same thing will happen for the second overall pick. So if that happens, a redrawing will happen for the second overall pick. Like the first drawing, it'll be done. Basically you can only jump up 10 spots, but this time they're using a reseeded order following the first drawing. So I guess the way it works is, say if the Flyers win the first overall pick, then it'll just go reseeding by, from Anaheim and on, and so forth and so forth. Let's see. What else? Yeah, so basically the second overall pick, it'll be the same process. If the teams that are, in the, non-eligible phase, it'll probably just do the same thing. It'll go to the worst overall team, whoever wins the second overall pick. That's basically going to be the same process there. Teams are only allowed to improve their positioning via the lottery twice in a 5-year period, beginning with the 2022 lottery. So that is last season. So if you're talking about certain teams that won the draft lottery last year, it was the Montreal Canadiens. They got the first overall pick last season after being the worst team overall in the National Hockey League. So Montreal can only move up one more time in the next 4 seasons. So I believe that is until 2027 or something like that, the next time they can move up in the draft lottery. So they got one more chance to do it. That could possibly be today. That could possibly be next year. But in a 5-year span, you can only move up once. Or twice, actually. You can only move up twice. And then blah, 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 so on and so forth. Talking about playoff teams with the way the rest of the draft first round is set up and all that crap, yada, yada, yada. Mainly, we're worried about the first overall pick, and that is the most important thing us Flyers fans are worried about. That's basically everything that we need to focus on there. And here's a good tweet from Charlie O'Connor, maybe to give Flyers fans some hope. If the hockey gods exist and are just, presumably Philadelphia will be a favorable lottery position. They didn't roster tank last summer. They didn't on-ice tank this spring. They've been buried in bad luck recently. But the hockey gods are not just. They are cruel and vindictive. Basically, I'm fully expecting the Flyers to not only win the draft lottery tonight, but to only not win the draft. Okay, I read that wrong. He was going in full-on pain mode. But I've seen some patterns throughout the NHL in the recent, somewhat draft lotteries. Call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I do see some, patterns, in my honest opinion, recently at least. So, in terms of Connor Bedard in the draft lottery, I'm sure the NHL is going to have their hand in all this. There's going to be some type of rigging involved, in my honest opinion. Some type of rigging. Because I'm sure Gary Bettman does not want Connor Bedard to go in any of these small market teams like Anaheim, like Columbus, like San Jose, like Arizona, any of those teams. Maybe Arizona, because Arizona is Gary Bettman's his baby. But Arizona would probably be the worst possible landing spot for Connor Bedard, even Anaheim, Columbus, or San Jose. The California teams, small markets, anything like that, that would be the worst possible landing spot for Connor Bedard. Non-hockey markets, basically. I think the NHL would want Connor Bedard to go to a really big market because that would be huge for the NHL. Big markets I'm talking about, Chicago, obviously, and Philadelphia. Those two cities are like in the top 5 markets of the entire U.S. Top 5. 3 and 4, I think, are Philadelphia or Chicago and Philadelphia. So they're up there in terms of market size. And then also teams that could possibly really benefit. Montreal, like I said, they're one of the, top Canadian teams, I would assume in market size besides the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe I would put them more on the lower side of winning the draft lottery in terms of where Bettman would want Bedard to go, just because, it would probably be more profitable for the NHL if Bedard does land in the States. Because you don't want, multiple generational talent in Canada. Because for the casual fan in the U.S., that's not really going to attract everything and all that crap. So I'm talking about teams like Chicago and Philadelphia, obviously. Washington, maybe. I would say Detroit, too. I don't consider Washington and Detroit gigantic markets, but they would definitely benefit from definitely drafting a Connor Bedard. And definitely would be teams that the NHL would like to see Bedard play for. I'm sure, in the stage of, I'm talking about Detroit. If you're thinking about the Detroit Red Wings, they've been rebuilding for so long under Steve Yzerman and everything like that. They haven't got a first overall pick basically the entire stage of this rebuild. So, honestly, it would not be shocking if Detroit were to win the draft lottery this year to finally get that first overall pick. So, I'm sure Steve Yzerman is very pissed off about not getting a first overall pick, but I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit were to win it this year. Washington, they're on the back 9 of basically everything. I'm sure they're going to still try to compete with Alex Ovechkin and everything like that going after Gretzky's record. I'm sure everything like that's going to happen, but basically I just got a text message, so I needed to read it, all that crap. But yeah, Washington, maybe, but maybe more on the back 9 like Montreal would see. I would say Detroit's more of a chance than Washington. Looking at some of these other teams like the other, St. Louis, definitely, I don't see him going to St. Louis. Vancouver, I know Bedard's from Vancouver, but I don't see Vancouver winning the draft lottery. They have the 11th best odds to win the draft lottery, so I just do not see that happening whatsoever. Like I said, I am banking on Philadelphia or Chicago to win this draft lottery. That's what I think is going to happen, and we're either going to be experiencing some major emotions, either ways, and happiness, sadness, pissed off, everything. Like Sean says earlier in the chat that he wants to bust his TV if the Flyers don't win the draft lottery. So we got a couple of minutes before the draft lottery actually starts. So let's go over the percentages of some of these teams. So the Anaheim Ducks, they were the worst overall team in the NHL. They obviously have the best odds to land Connor Bedard. And they also can get the benefit of a team that's not qualified for the first overall pick. If any of those teams land it, it would automatically go to Anaheim. So Anaheim has their percentage of getting it, and also the percentage of the other teams that are not qualified for it. So they can have some luck there. But besides their percentages, Anaheim has a 25.5% chance to get the first overall pick, according to Tankathon. They have an 18.8% chance to get the second overall pick. And the best odds for Anaheim right here would be dropping to third with a 55.7% chance. So they have above a 0.5% chance to fall to third. That's telling there. Columbus, they have a 13.5% chance to get the first overall pick, a 14.1% chance to fall to 2, or to stay at 2, actually. They have a 30.7% chance to fall to 3. And their greatest odds is falling to 4th with a 41.7% chance. Now here comes Chicago, and this is really telling with the way their percentages are. Chicago's worst percentage, and I mean lowest percent chance, is staying at the 3rd overall pick. Their pick, they were the 3rd worst team in the NHL this year. That's the lowest odds they have of staying. They have a 7.8% chance to stay in the 3rd overall slot. They have an 11.5% chance to win the 1st overall pick, an 11.2% chance to fall to 2, or to win the 2nd overall pick. They have a 39.7% chance to fall to 4, and a 29.8% chance to fall to 5. Those percentages tell me that Chicago is either winning this draft lottery or they're falling back. They're not staying at the 3rd overall pick. Those discrepancies between the percentages, especially with the 3rd overall pick, it's too glaring. It is way too glaring. So Chicago's either winning this or they're losing the draft lottery by falling back. The San Jose Sharks, they have a 9.5% chance for both the 1st and the 2nd overall pick. They got a 15.4% chance to stay at 4. They got a 44.6% chance to move back to 5 and a 20.8% chance to move back to 6. So there's a possibility right there. The Montreal Canadiens, they have an 8.5% chance to win the draft lottery, an 8.6% chance to go to 2nd overall, a 24.5% chance to stay at 5, a 44% chance to move back to 6, and a 14.2% chance to move back to 7. The Arizona Coyotes, they have a 7.5% chance to get the 1st overall pick, 7.7% chance to get the 2nd, 34.1% to stay at 6, 41.4% to move back to 7, and a 9.1% chance to move back to 8. The Philadelphia Flyers, they got a 6.5% chance to win the draft lottery, a 6.7% chance to win the 2nd overall pick, 44.4% to stay at 7, 36.5% to move back to 8, and a 5.6% chance to move back to 9. The Flyers aren't moving back to 9. I can definitely tell from those overall odds, as the draft lottery looks like it's about to start, but who knows when they're going to be doing the odds and everything like that. The Washington Capitals, they have a 6% chance to win the 1st overall pick, a 6.2% chance to win the 2nd, a 54% chance to stay at 8, a 30% chance to fall back to 9, and a 3.2% chance to move back to 10. Detroit, they have a 5% chance to win the 1st overall pick, 5.2% to win the 2nd, 64.4% chance to stay at 9, 23.5% to fall back to 10, and a 1.7% to move back to 11. St. Louis, yada, 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 yada. The odds get greater for them to stay put in their spots, St. Louis, Vancouver, and all that crap. So I'm just looking at these percentages, man. Chicago really is glaring, and honestly, the Flyers are kind of glaring too. I know as you get to the later picks in this draft lottery, they have better percent chances to stay where they're at. But I see the Flyers are the first team to, their best odds are to stay at 7. But then, they got a 36.5% chance to go to 8. But their odds to get 1st or 2nd are better than their odds to go back to 9. That's what's glaring to me. That's just what I see there. I know it's the same thing for Washington and all that stuff. Their odds to move up are greater than moving back 2 spots. It's the same thing for all the other teams. But I don't know, man. I just have a feeling. And like I said, going back to the glaring things with the National Hockey League, remember the New York Rangers when they told their fans and everything like that they were going through a rebuild, and then instantly the next 2 seasons they get a 2nd and a 1st overall pick? The NHL might be very, very, kind. Very, very kind to teams in gigantic markets that admit they're rebuilding, because I'm sure the NHL wants those teams to not be rebuilding for long. Especially teams like New York. I would assume a team like Philadelphia, because I'm sure the NHL hates that the Flyers are this bad right now. Because the Flyers are a huge loss for the National Hockey League market. A huge loss. I don't know, man. It's like I said, Chicago's odds really stand out to me. Just because their worst percent is staying at 3, that just really tells me they're moving up or they're moving down. It's Chicago or Philadelphia, man. That's what I'm thinking. Chicago or Philly. And maybe the NHL gods will throw us a bone after Chicago beat us for Patrick Kane. here come the cards, so they're going to be doing the draft order very soon, most likely after this commercial break. But, like I said, maybe the NHL gods will throw us a bone, and we get a little bit of revenge. Chicago stole Patrick Kane from us. Why not we steal Connor Bedard from them? If Arizona gets the pick, I'm done. Trust me. If Arizona gets the pick, that's terrible. That is terrible for the National Hockey League. Connor Bedard in a college stadium, that would be terrible for the league. That would be so bad. Now imagine if Connor Bedard on the Flyers, how many more people are buying season tickets? How many more people are buying merchandise specifically with his name on it? How much marketing is the Flyers going to profit from this? Like I said, season tickets, jerseys, everything, type of merchandise sale. Nationally televised games, because the Flyers are going to get a ton of nationally televised games specifically to market Connor Bedard. And rivalry matchups, Bedard versus McDavid, Bedard versus Crosby, Bedard versus Ovechkin, all this crap, all the stars around the league. Bedard versus this guy, Bedard versus that guy. It'd be the same thing for any team that gets a Connor Bedard. But when you add him to the Philadelphia market, the NHL can really profit off of that. Teams that, and I don't think, even going for Chicago, maybe the NHL gods punish them. Because we all know the shit that went over with them last season. All the scandal that appeared during their Cup run in 2010. All the crap that they put under the bus just to win the Stanley Cup. All the disgusting stuff that happened. Maybe the NHL gods punish them more. Because in my personal opinion, I don't think Chicago deserves this first overall pick. Because honestly, if they win it, it's not going to be a good look for the league, in my honest opinion, after everything that happened last year. That's just me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but that's also just me. Like, this Flyers team desperately needs this first overall pick. Like, for some of these other teams, Anaheim, they have, young, good players like, Trevor Zegras and all that stuff. Columbus, they have some young, good prospects in their system. They also have Johnny Gaudreau. Chicago, yeah, you could definitely say they lack in the superstar department, or the star department. Because they just, they're going to lose Jonathan Taves. They just traded Patrick Kane and all that crap. I don't know if they have any stars in their prospect system. San Jose, Montreal, they got Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki. They have some young players in their system. Arizona, they got some young players, but Arizona's Arizona. They're never going to be good. The Flyers are really the only team that's when was the last time the Flyers had a superstar? A superstar that can challenge possibly for a Hart Trophy consistently year after year, and maybe, be a point scorer. When was the last time a Flyer scored 100 points besides Claude Giroux? It's probably been a long time. Been a very long time. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So are they going to do So we all know where the Flyers can pick. It's 7, 8, 9, or 1, 2. Any news on Zade Wisdom? Haven't heard much. I know he's been up and down between the ECHL and the AHL over the course of the year. So I'm not sure of anything there. That I'm just not entirely sure of. I know he's also dealt with some injury issues. I know he had a surgery before this season started, so maybe that had an effect in something, but the Flyers do have some nice prospects, like, Cutter Gauthier, Tyson Forster, all that stuff. Sam Ersson, Emil Andre is a nice defensive prospect. But in terms of a guy that can come in and be a superstar, the Flyers don't have that, in my honest opinion. They do not have that. Maybe Cutter Gauthier can be that, but still he's an unknown. He is going to be playing over the World Championships for Team USA, so that could be exciting for Flyers fans to watch. So, you guys want me to turn the volume up for this? Blah, blah, blah. Stop talking about the Anaheim Ducks, Kevin Weeks. We don't care about them. Where these are watch parties for Chicago, watch parties for Anaheim, and watch parties for Columbus. My God. My goodness. Let's see. Consensus #1 draft prospect Connor Bedard, hometown Lyndon Valley, British Columbia, Canada. Led the league in the WHL with 71 goals and 143 points. 143 points, 71 goals. The dude breaks records. He broke World Junior records. How do you not want this guy on your team? I know Fantilli is a great prospect in his own right. I know he's committed back to Michigan for another season because I watched, the NCAA championships, that tournament. Fantilli's great to watch too. But like, it's like, comparing, McDavid to Jack Eichel during that draft. Bedard's on it. Fantilli, great prospect in his own right. But there's just another 50 steps probably with Bedard. The Flyers need a prospect like that. So, man, it's gotta. I just gotta hope, man. He says his favorite player is Sidney Crosby. Oh boy, I know Hunter Brody would like that. Hunter Brody's a big Sidney Crosby guy. Reminds me of the lead up to Eric Lindros. Maybe. How do we not have any second round picks? Chuck Fletcher. That's the basic explanation there. Corey, that is the basic explanation. Like seriously, like reward the team that got rid of all the bad stuff in their front office. They got rid of Chuck Fletcher. They put in the new face of Danny Briere, who's most likely going to be the GM. Hunter took a lot of pucks to his head during his playing days. Maybe that's why he couldn't score on a breakaway. Oh God. Come on, freaking people. I know the Edmonton Vegas game is like at 8:30, so they gotta get this done over quick, don't they? Flyers have 6.5% chance to get the pick. They have 65 combinations they could possibly get. Anaheim has 185. Anaheim has 18.5%. I think Tankathon did like a 25.5. Just I think it was combining with all the other teams too. Come on. Yep. 2 drawings for the 16 teams that did not make the playoffs. Teams can only move up a max of 10 spots. If a team in the 12 to 16 range wins the first drawing, the first pick will remain with the Anaheim Ducks. It'll be terrible if the Connor Bedard goes to Anaheim, San Jose, or Columbus, or Arizona, in my opinion. Any of those 4 teams, it would be terrible for the league. It's just no knock. It's just those are bad markets for him. It's not good, in my opinion. I know Johnny Gaudreau signed in Columbus, so I can see Columbus winning the draft lottery because of that instance, but it'd still be bad for the league, in my opinion. Okay, they're going to be doing it. Okay, let's get this over with, boys. It doesn't look like any of the GMs are there. All the GMs are there virtually. I saw Danny Briere's little background. Okay, 16. That's most likely going to be the Calgary Flames. Yep, the Calgary Flames. Calgary is picking 16 overall, a disastrous season for that team after reshaping the entire core and missing out on the playoffs. 15, that'll probably be the Nashville Predators. Nashville Predators. What if Pittsburgh won the draft lottery and it automatically went to Anaheim? I would be pissed. #14th pick, this should be the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Get all those stupid idiots off the screen. Then the 13th pick, that should be the Buffalo Sabres. This should be the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres. Okay, now we can start. This should be Ottawa. So 12 should be Ottawa. And then we could possibly start seeing teams move down. 12th overall. Ottawa Senators. Okay, now we can start seeing teams move down. 11 should be the Vancouver Canucks, if everything goes right. My heart's starting to race, boys. I'm getting nervous. So that will go to Arizona. Okay. That was a part of the Chikrin trade. 11, this should be Vancouver unless if they moved up. The Vancouver Canucks stay at 11. They don't move up. Next should be the St. Louis Blues. Next should be the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues. Okay, Blues don't move up. Okay, now. We can see the Flyers in these next 3 spots. They can move down to 9, 8, or stay at 7. Detroit should be next. This should be Detroit unless they move up. Detroit does not move up. Flyers are safe at 9. Next should be Washington. This should be Washington. Please. Washington stays. Oh boy. Okay, moment of truth, boys. Moment of truth. 7th overall pick. Is this going to be the Philadelphia Flyers, or will they move up? Will the Flyers move up? Please don't be anticlimactic. Please gift us NHL. Fuck! God damn it. Fuck you, NHL. Okay, let's just see who wins it. 6, this should be Arizona. Okay. Next should be Montreal. Chicago's going to win the draft lottery, watch. Chicago's going to win it. Watch, it'll be Chicago or Montreal. Montreal. Wow, no one's moved up. Unless this is one of those instances where one of the 12 to 16 teams placed. I swear to God, if he goes to any of those California teams, I'll be pissed. Well, that was anticlimactic. 4, this should be San Jose. San Jose. Knowing this, one of those 12 to 16 place teams won the draft lottery, and it's automatically going to go to Anaheim. I'd be pissed. This should be Chicago unless they moved up. I think it's Chicago. I think Chicago wins this fucking lottery. Just gonna do a huge boo on Twitter. Well. Who is in the crosshairs at 7? Will Smith. I'm not sure, honestly. How do the Chicago Blackhawks deserve this crap after? I don't know, man. I don't know. Chicago's going to win it. It's going to be, at this point, it's Chicago or Columbus. I wouldn't be shocked. Chicago or Columbus. Calling it here. Yeah. Now people are saying on Twitter that Kevin Weeks possibly just leaked that Chicago probably moved up. I'll be mad if that's the case. I'll be very mad. Yep, always the bridesmaid. Yeah, everyone's saying it on Twitter now. Everyone's saying it on Twitter. That did Kevin Weeks just fuck up? That's the real point there. Did Kevin Weeks just fuck up? Yeah, I think there's something to this that Kevin Weeks might have slipped up. I think he did. If he said Columbus at third, I think he slipped up. Well, let's see, third overall pick. If it's Columbus, Chicago won the draft lottery. This third pick, Columbus Blue Jackets. Yep, Kevin Weeks swept. It's gonna be the Chicago Blackhawks. It's gonna be Chicago. Chicago Blackhawks. It's gonna be. Bullshit. 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 The Chicago Blackhawks, the team that had a huge sex scandal go under the ring and the NHL did not do anything to punish them. The NHL did absolutely nothing to punish this team. And you know what they got rewarded with? Connor Bedard. Fucking unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Also, to a team that won 3 cups, 3 fucking Stanley Cups in a decade, they get rewarded. They're gonna lose Jonathan Toews this year. They already lost Patrick Kane, and they get fucking rewarded with Connor Bedard. It's unreal. Shut up, Kyle Davidson. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm mad now. I'm mad. I'm absolutely pissed. Give me a second. The NHL is sad, man. Sad. Absolutely sad. Like, this is just proof that karma doesn't exist. Karma does not exist. It's so obviously rigged. Fucking unbelievable, man. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. That is fucking a joke, man. That is a joke. What a joke, man. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what to say. It's a joke. I don't even know what to say anymore. Personally, I'm just too mad. I'm too mad. Seriously, those stupid percentages were overly glaring from the beginning. My God. I don't know. Such bullshit, man. Such bullshit. I haven't talked for like, what, 5 minutes at this point? Excuse me. Fucking bullshit, man. Jesus. Oh, my fucking God. League always wants Chicago to be good for some reason. Man, should have tanked this season. Never do win a general chase. That's why we're here. Let's see. Now let me just look up NHL mock drafts now, since I'm assuming they're already going to be set with the draft lottery one. So here are some things that could possibly happen. You know, Bedard's going to go first overall to Chicago. Bullshit. Already know. Fantilli's going to go 2 to Anaheim. Carlson will probably go 3rd overall, the center from Sweden. He's probably going to go to Columbus. Then you really get into question marks. It's not a question marks about the players. It's just a question mark of what teams want. Because you got Michkov from Russia, but are teams really going to want to deal with, you know, Russian players right now with the issue of trying to get those guys over? I'm not sure if a team's going to risk a high overall pick for that. So you probably could see Michkov fall down the board. I know there's a Will Smith guy here, Oliver Moore, all these other guys. There's a lot of U.S. Development teams. Will Smith's committed to Boston College. Oliver Moore's committed to Minnesota. According to Tankathon, Oliver Moore could go 7th overall. Who is Oliver Moore in his career? Let's see. 5'11", 18 years old. He's a center. Let's see. There's a lot of centers going for. So the Flyers might get a center. Or do they prioritize defense? I have no idea. I'll probably prioritize talking about draft shit when we get over to that day. But right now, I'm just too mad to even think about that. Like, that was so fucking rigged. It's not even funny. So rigged, it's not even funny. So. Wait. I gotta make a phone call to my good buddy Chris Mayer. Let's get Chris on the phone.
What's up?
This shit is fucking rigged.
I know, I'm on stream.
I'm on stream too. People can hear you.
It's rigged.
It's
very much
rigged.
rigged.
Fucking rigged.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
The Chicago Blackhawks, a team from that won 3 Stanley Cups in the 2010s, a team that had a huge sexual scandal that was, hid. The NHL didn't punish them. And you know what they get rewarded with? They've been fucking Connor Bedard. Man.
You're on speaker.
Hi, YouTube.
Yo, Amadeo.
Hey, Ed. How you doing, man?
No, yourself. Was that some more shit or what, dude?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brutal. I mean, it's, you go from 3 cups in 5 years. Kane, Taves, Sharp, Hossa.
You lost Kane and Taves this season.
I mean, one of the best teams in one of the best teams in NHL history to start in 13 and they win and just on, and then the whole Kyle Beach thing and nothing. They just oh no, it's fine. Go ahead. Here's Bedard. Go ahead.
I honestly, him going to Arizona would have been better than this. Him going to Arizona would have been better.
I would have been fine with Anaheim too.
I would have been pissed of those other teams, but not to this level.
Here's the thing: the NHL wasn't sending them to Arizona.
Oh no, they never were.
You know, I mean, there's
that is such disarray out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's.
I mean, like they don't even know what arena they're playing in.
I mean, 5 years. Seriously, so. they could have Crosby, Gretzky, Lemieux, everybody all together. If they were all in their prime right now with Bedard, and there still wouldn't be anybody there.
Did you guys see the odds for the draft lottery, like where teams were able to pick? Because if you look at Chicago's odds, it was very glaring.
Yeah.
Chicago had a 7.8% chance to stay at 3.
Bettman wanted him there, dude. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going for the big market, and obviously Chicago over Anaheim is a bigger market.
Oh yeah,
and there's no.
Well, it's because original 6 and all the good things that have happened and the cup run, all that stuff. That's so good. The Oilers Golden Knights, the picture with the Kane flipping off the woman behind. Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
Who you thinking series and for winning the cup?
My bracket is basically broken because the Rangers got eliminated, but I still have Edmonton here. I said they're going to the final. So yeah, I got to bank Edmonton.
Going to the final. I asked who's winning the cup.
I'm still going Edmonton now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think I have Edmonton too.
I thought Toronto, after they got that first round jinx off their back, I thought they were going to be like Washington. But I think Florida, man, is playing.
Yeah. Florida's a scary team right now.
Can't beat them right now. And Bob's insane, and everybody's chipping in, and Seattle looks good too. And I feel like nobody's talking about them.
Oh yeah. Seattle's like the quiet team right now.
Your boy on here is.
Well, I mean national coverage. I mean,
yeah, okay, but
everybody's talking Florida, and everybody's
Tristan's talking about.
I know, but a lot of the problem was they beat Colorado one night that Florida did the impossible to pretty much the entire world.
Yeah, nobody talked about it. You're right.
Yeah, so nobody really talked about it. So
we're growing the sport, boys. We're sending the first overall pick to a team that had a sexual assault scandal.
Right, I brought that up. I didn't say sexual assault scandal. I left that out.
Yeah,
but somebody in Chris's chat knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, everybody knows what you're talking about. It's not not common knowledge. The entire world talked about it for how long? I mean, it's
yeah. Remember when Kane had that thing against him too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were at that game when.
Yeah, then they all shouted. She said no.
When the Flyers were shouting, she said no. She said no.
Yeah, I was like 12 years old during it in the crowd too. And I was like, "Tell your mother."
The Flyers lost out on another generational talent, and we haven't had one since Eric Lindros.
Yep, trade for him.
Yeah, we have to trade for him. That's right. Maybe he won't want to play for Chicago. Maybe we can pull that off.
I mean, honestly, I'm fine with 7. Like, I was talking, I know we're all bummed about not getting one, but 7's a good pick, too. Yeah. I mean, the draft is so deep. And who's to say Danny can't get another pick in the top 15?
It's a possibility.
Get 2.
Yeah, they're going to get a good player, but then, this fan base, they're just going to compare that, it's not Connor Bedard. That's my feeling right now, but it's just, I hate it.
Here's when are the Flyers going to announce Danny B?
Whenever they find a person.
I would say at the end of the week.
At the end of the week?
Yeah.
That's
jobs, yeah.
That's what everyone's talking about right now.
He already is the GM. Like they haven't announced it, but it's like 98% sure that he's GM. So, he pretty much is. Yeah. We'll see. It's just, hey, I'm bummed, but I'm not. I'm honestly more mad that it's Chicago than us.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. Yeah, that sucks. So, well, thanks for the vent. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Amadeo. Good talking to you, man.
You too. I'll see you. Always good talking to Chris. But, man, that sucks. That's just terrible, man. Like, out of all the fucking teams, I swear to God, man. Well, I think that's where it's going to call it off for today, everyone. I'm just too mad. So, thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like and everything like that. Don't forget the subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS. Great deal. Don't pass it up. I'm mad. So,